This is Jonathan Vero, and this is the real estate market report for Lake Arrowhead Woods of March 2023. So, from last month in February, our average sales price has actually decreased just slightly, down from $955,000 in February, and right now we're at $900,000. So, this is relatively a high average monthly sales price for this time of year, and especially after we had a significant decrease over the past 3 months, and it bottomed out in about October. The average sales price of 736,000. So the fact that we're still all the way back up at 900,000, considering the market conditions, just gives me confidence in our real estate market. So right now, the average 30-year fixed rate mortgage is at 6.26%, and that is just down a very small amount from last month of 6.27%. So we've had about 3 months total of a consistent decrease in the mortgage rates. So we're hoping to see that continue to decrease into next year and get us down closer to what the rates were before. So the average days on market right now for a home in Lake Arrowhead Woods is 86 days, and that has not really changed much since last month. So we're seeing a lot of these statistics from last month consistent with this month. What that means is just since the homes are sitting longer, it's the winter, people aren't really coming up to see houses, and people aren't getting as many offers. So this is typical for this time of the year, and it is actually a relatively faster time frame from selling compared to like 2018-17 numbers, which were over 100 days on market. The listing inventory right now, we're at reasonable number of homes on the market. Usually we typically see about 100 to 150 listings right now on the market. For the month of March, we had 130 homes on the market. So, and we get a lot of our new listings coming very soon in April and June. So you may have heard that we just got a insane historic snowstorm, and I did in my market report give you guys a complete kind of summary of how the storm went and how we handled it and the details that the news probably didn't tell you. So definitely sign up for my email list. I'll go over it a little bit in this video, but I don't want to keep it too long. So around the middle of February, the mountain community started to hear word of a major snowstorm coming. It's going to be a historic amount of snow. And starting on Tuesday night, it was about February 22nd, the first storm hit. And by then we had, pretty much prepared, gotten food. A lot of the grocery stores were running low on food because we prepared so much. People were getting gas and all of that. But we had about 3 feet of snow that first snowstorm, and it all came within the next 2 days. So basically, they shut down the roads right off the bat. You weren't really allowed to even leave your front door. You could get down the mountain, but you definitely could not come up the mountain. And so most of the roads were impassable. By Friday, so just 4 days later, the next large storm came, bringing basically blizzard conditions, which is what we never see on the mountain. So literally every single highway was closed, up and down traffic. Local snow plows did their best to keep up, but ended up giving up, and were actually ended up pulled to the Grapevine on the 5 freeway, and then the 15 freeway and the Cajon Pass. So we lost all of our plows, and basically really only lifted vehicles with 4x4 with huge tires and chains were able to go anywhere with some sort of confidence. So many people actually ended up bailing out of their cars and just leaving them on the side of the road and either walking home or walking to the store. But these blizzard-like conditions basically, forced people to stay home. They couldn't leave. The power ended up going out for a handful of days in different areas of the mountain. And by the end of that weekend, we had about a new feet of 4 feet of snow by the end of that weekend, so on Sunday. Most of the roads barely were even plowed. Just pretty much only one lane was open. And then pretty much all of the secondary roads were left unplowed. So a lot of people were stranded on the on the mountain. They couldn't, they had to walk to the store to get food. Gas stations were running out of supplies, and people really were kind of becoming desperate if they didn't prepare very well. Even a lot of the vacationers who had came up for that weekend got stuck here. So, and they were really not prepared because they were just anticipating to go out and eat and do all of that. So by the end of the weekend, we really were desperate and we were crying out for help, and we were trying to get assistance from the county and assistance from, the first responders. So eventually, after about 5 days, we did end up getting a national state of emergency, and that came through. So they brought in a lot of resources, first responders, extra fire crews. They brought the National Guard, and it was questionable what the National Guard was actually doing up here. But they were dropping supplies off at the hospital. So by then, the roads were somewhat plowed. So if you could get to the main road, you could get down the mountain. But all the secondary roads were pretty much buried in about 5 feet of snow, and the driving conditions were just ridiculous. So if you got down the mountain, you were stuck. If you were still on the mountain, you were stuck up here. By about Wednesday the following week, so 7 days total, the total snowfall in Lake Arrowhead was about 6 feet. And that's definitely something that some people will say different. The news was saying it was even up to 12 feet. I'd have no evidence that anywhere in Lake Arrowhead that there was 12 feet of snowfall on like level ground without any sort of runoff. So in some areas, yeah, snowdrifts could have gotten up to 12 feet, but I have no evidence of that. Most of the locals were pretty much, reporting 5 to 6 feet in most of their homes and most of their yards. So regardless of that amount, there was way too much snow. Decks were starting to collapse, roofs were caving in, gas meters would, start getting buried and collecting gas. And then if a deck fell on it, it actually has caused explosions. So a lot of crazy things were going on. The fire department basically put out word to every single resident on the mountain that it is crucial to get your gas meter unburied, and so that way any of these gas leaks would not cause fires or anything like that. So by the end of Monday, almost 2 weeks later, most of the side roads were plowed, and sunny conditions came, so the storm was over, and most of the new concerns were pretty much just off of mudslides, new rain were coming in, and then just the weight of all of that snow on the structures. So with all of these different, snowstorms and crises that hit the mountain, we really got to ask ourselves, how is it going to affect the real estate activity on the mountain? Basically, a lot of insurance companies stopped writing new policies for Lake Arrowhead for the, all the way up until this is March 18th when I'm filming this. So a lot of companies stopped writing policies, and then mortgage lenders stopped also writing mortgages because of the insurance companies. So that put basically a big hold on a lot of our escrows and new sales coming in the market, and then as well as just the amount of snow has stopped showings, has stopped new listings coming on the market. So basically it's paused pretty much for all of the end of February, and all of March so far has paused a lot of the real estate activity, and we will see those results happen in next month. So that was the monthly market report for March of 2023. This is Jonathan Beer with Team Lake Arrowhead, and I will see you in the next video.